Peace and blessings. All is well, all is in divine order. I just wanted to get on the mic and clear some things up, clear the air. You know, you got some people around here who they want to, look at you making progress, and they want to say that you're making progress because you're from the devil, or you making progress because you made a compact with the devil, or he's making progress because he is kissing up to somebody, he's doing favors for somebody. So let me get this straight. First of all, I want to go back to a time where I was a teacher, a school administrator. And at that time, around 2008, I was meeting with some brothers in education. Now, granted, the school that I was at that time, I said, I was leaving Harding High School, was headed to New Haven. I was in New Haven, and I was still meeting with some brothers who were in education, and we met on Sunday. And the reason we met on Sunday is because the brothers were, a few of them were, Seventh-day Adventists, and we couldn't get them to meet on a Saturday. But what we wanted to do was, we wanted to start a all boys school. And the reason we wanted to start an all boys school at that time was because when we looked at all of the, subgroups in education, math, reading, it didn't matter. All of the different categories, Black males were on the bottom. They were on the bottom for literacy. They were on the bottom for, math. And it was just, and when we looked at statistics, Black males were being expelled at the highest rate of any other ethnic group and gender, suspended. It just looked like, if we were looking at the future, like Black boys had no hope. That's what it was looking like. So we decided that we were going to do something about it. So I was meeting with some brothers, and we were meeting in private. At that time, I had the keys to a school, and we would go into school and we would meet. And these were brilliant Black men. But we were in position to do it without permission. Almost everything we had to do. We looked at it, man, we got degrees, and almost everything we had to do, we had to ask somebody's permission. And then I started saying to myself, wait a minute, why do I need to ask the same system that is actually causing our kids harm permission to save our kids? It doesn't make any sense. And so where do we get this idea that we got to always ask permission? The document of the United States government, the first document was not the Constitution. It was the Declaration of Independence. When America declared themselves independent from England, and it said that the reason why government came into existence is to secure life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. That means everybody has a right in this country to be free. Everybody has a right to do that which makes them happy and pursue it. So I looked at it, and every time we wanted to do something for our boys, we had to ask the city, we had to ask the state. Now think about it. We're supposed to be grown people in America, grown people. When you're young, you ask permission. Mom, can I go outside? No, Kevin, you can't go outside. Mom, why? Because I said so. And then Can I go out with Johnny? No. Why? Because I said so. And so, especially as Black people, when we decide we're going to do something, we're always asking permission. We got to have a rally, we ask the police department, right? So when I look at it, I'm not telling you to break the law, but we got a lot of wiggle room within the law, but people make us look like we got to ask them permission. So Muhammad, for the first time in 10 years, today received its first grant. I mean, we received in 10 years, the first time we received any money, a grant from anybody. This is a city grant, was the first time I just got the notice we received a grant. But listen, in 2010, 2011 in January, I started Muhammad. Now, usually when I was in the school system, when somebody wanted to do something in the school, they asked permission. I tested the system. I would just show up at the school with the parent, and they would say, "Who's this guy here?" "I'm the advocate." "Well, who gave you permission?" "I don't need permission because the parent said I represent them." "Sign the form." Good. That's the first step. Second, you're pulling kids out of school and you're educating them. Now, in 2013, I did my first, I took 2 children with, of course, a parent who wanted me to educate their child. She pulled them out of the school system. I asked her, I said, "Did you have permission?" She said, "No, I don't have to have permission. In the state of Connecticut, you have the right to educate your children. And the district is still responsible for them financially up until the age of 18 or 21 if they're special ed." So she challenged the school district, took her children out, had me educate them before they went back in. So I learned, why am I always asking people permission? So when I started Muhammad, I didn't ask permission. I got a place with the help of a business partner. We started to provide after-school services, and then I started to provide school services. Now, again, somebody got me and thought it was a good idea that I go and petition the Board of Ed. I think it was in 2018 that I start a school. And that went buku crazy. But I realized the Catholics didn't ask nobody. The Jewish people to start their schools didn't ask anybody permission. Why am I asking the same people permission to educate our children when they are the same people causing the issue? That's like asking the warden to let you go out of prison, knowing the warden is not going to let you go because he's not going to give you that permission unless you break free. Now, again, I'm not telling you to break any laws, but Black people, we're always asking permission. Now, let's get a little deeper. Whose permission do you need when you were born and created and God gave you a mission? Whose permission do you need? That's the problem that I have with all of this hierarchy in religion, because I've been through that. You have to ask this person to see if you can, let me ask brother and sister so-and-so who's over that person. And then maybe when I ask brother and sister so-and-so who's over at that person, they'll get back to you in, after we get back to the other brother and sister so-and-so that's over them. So you want progress, but you in this organization where you have to keep asking permission. And I'm not saying, organization has its benefit. Because if it was not for me being in an organization, I wouldn't really know structure. I wouldn't really know how to run a business. But sometimes when people don't like you and they're envious of you and they know you're brilliant and they know you got ideas, they try to stop you. For years in Black organization, they had FBI agents and CIA agents and people in the organization that would stop and thwart progress. And some of these people were in power. So I stopped asking permission. People think I got a degree because I'm looking for a job. No, I am getting qualified so I can create more jobs. I'm qualifying myself so I can serve my community and I have access to the system that I can build, that I can create. I am not going back. I don't need permission. I am not asking you. I'm telling you what I'm going to do. But see, when you start doing things without asking permission, some of the Negroes that, are on the plantation afraid and scared to break free. Oh my God, I don't know what Kevin is trying to do. He about to break free. He about to escape out of here. I don't know, boss. Oh my God, boss. He didn't ask your permission. So here you go, a scared to death Negro. You always ask permission, scared to death. And so because you're scared, you think everybody else is scared. No, we're not. I haven't worked a job in 10 going on 11 years. And I eat and I sleep and I pay my bills because my talents and my gifts make a way for me. People think I'm getting education because I'm trying to be something that I'm not, more white, fit in, get a job. No. Knowledge is a way, it's a key to open the door that you want to go through. I don't need nobody's permission. I'm not asking city council. If you city council again wants to, grant favor, thank you, city council. I'm not asking Ned Lamont. But if Ned Lamont want to throw in a few dollars and he wants to grant something, I'll take it. I just received a grant from the city. Guess what? I'll take it. It's going to help our kids because they see my grind. They see me working. They see what I'm doing, but it took them a decade. I didn't ask nobody, and I'm not asking permission to do what a free man is supposed to do. I don't need no organization to grant me access or favor. Because sometimes you're in these organizations and you got gatekeepers. They don't like you. They don't like the fact that you're talented, that you're gifted. The fact that you're moving up, they get envious. And instead of them doing what they got to do, they're envious of you. And it be the ones that you sat down and talked to in a meeting after meeting. And that's why I don't go to meetings and share my ideas anymore. I get my idea and I put my idea to action. I don't sit on nothing. When I get an idea and the idea is powerful, I act on it. I've been in school for 3 years. I just graduated. Half the people didn't even know I was attending school. Because the moves that I make, they're not for announcement. Not until I finish, accomplish the goal. Not until I grab the gold. Not until I make it across the finish line. After I win, I'll tell you about my victory. But you ain't gonna know nothing. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you what I'm going to do. Now, there's an author, and I'm going to finish. His name is Dr. Wayne Dyer. And a lot of these authors, at the time that I was really in some dark moments, I was reaching, man, for wisdom. And traditionally, I come out of what's called a Christian, Muslim, religious experience. And I'm trying to tell you that I was in such deep darkness that what I had to reach deeper and reach others. And so I was getting books by people like Paramahansa Yogananda. Listen, it didn't conflict with what I already believed in. It added to. Books by Thich Nhat Hanh. These were people that first experienced very little resources but built organization. These men that had the will within them, and people followed them not because they had money, but because they were men of character, and they actually begin to build, within their space. And I looked at the fact that the wisdom that they had was doing me good because I was in a dark place and I needed to find strength within myself. But one of the books that I read, the gentleman said, whose permission do you need? When you get an idea, it's your idea, honor it. Some of us don't even honor our ideas. Some of us don't even think we're worthy to bring something into existence. Some of us, we've been asking permission all our lives. And unfortunately, every time I ask a Black person with a degree, they say, wait a minute, let me ask the mayor. Let me ask the governor. Let me ask the superintendent of schools. And I'm saying, wait a minute. Government was produced not so we ask permission. They're supposed to allow us to secure our own rights, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and get the hell out of the way. I don't need your permission. So every now and then you got to challenge the powers to be. And you know what? I'm not telling you to break laws, but within the government, we got a lot of wiggle room. I'm going to close. I looked at school law, education law. Parents have a lot of power. Community has a lot of power. We don't need to beg the school district to educate our kids. Some people are saying, okay, I want to use, my religious exemption. I don't want the school to kick my kid out because they didn't get a vaccine. But instead of you relying on a district, you have a lot of power within your community to educate your children. You just don't believe you can. Somebody told you that you were incapable, but you're very capable to produce your own schools, to educate your own children, to pool your resources. In fact, we want government to have the money to follow the child. We're giving you that money. That ain't your money, government. That money's for our children. And if our children are not going to be in your system, then give us the money back so that we can educate our own children, buy our own buildings, buy our own schools. I'm sick and tired of y'all thinking that you need to beg somebody to do what you can do for yourself. You scared. Some of you are afraid. You're weak. You Millie Mouth. You a punk. And then you're mad at me. You're envious at me. I never said I was a perfect person. I made a lot of goddamn mistakes. But I tell you what, after every one of them, I brushed myself off, brushed the dirt off my shoulder. I got the hell up. I'm a resilient Black man. And because I'm resilient and I care zilch what you think about me, I'm going to get my ass up and go to work. I'm going to let my works speak for me. And when it comes to the education of our children, get out of my way. It's by hook or crook. It's by light or might. And I'm going to knock every goddamn thing out in sight. So I'm going to send a clear message. Some of you that are on my pages, like my Facebook page, and you don't like me, and you keep talking about me behind my back, looking at, well, I'm going to give you something to look at. Because you don't work. Some of y'all got all Bible and Quran. You're religious, you're holy, but non-productive. You got all the right things, the right prayers, and you ain't got shit. Damn your religion if your religion is not going to make you productive. If you're sick, unhappy, unproductive, and a slave, you can have your religion. I don't want it. I'd rather take my freedom. I'd rather get myself up. And if you got so much God, why are you asking permission? The only permission that you need is that of God's. God already gave me permission to do what I got to do. I don't know what you're going to do. Harriet Tubman, she sought the permission of the slave master to free the slaves. Does that make sense? Oh, excuse me, master. I got to free some of your slaves, and I'm asking your permission. Can I have permission to free the slaves? You asking the slave master permission to be free. He ain't never going to grant you permission. Mr. PhD, a slave. Miss Master's degree, slave. Mr. Bachelor's degree, slave. Mr. Holy Sanctified, gotta ask your pastor everything, slave. Mr. Muslim, Mr. Akbar, gotta ask your imam everything, slave. There's no more God. Reverend Ike used to say, there's no more God in you than anybody else. There's no less God in me than anybody else. I got as much God in me as the pastor. I got as much God in me as the president. I got as much God in me as the governor. I don't need their permission. They a man like I'm a man. Huh? They wear drawers like I wear drawers. When they go to the bathroom and take a dump, it stink like mine. They ain't no better. They get up with one foot on the ground and the other foot afterwards, just like I do. I don't need their permission. I got permission. And I'm going to take my permission all the way to life. I don't need your permission. Peace, Sister Ramona. We're asking everybody permission that God has already given us. So I'm not asking them permission to build a school. And traditional school does not work for a lot of our children. I met with a community member last week. I said, can you get co-ops and silos of parents who are willing to have these spaces and these places? I will train them in curriculum. I will empower them to know how to take that curriculum, whatever, core curriculum, and then teach it to their children. We will have get together, and there's gotta be soccer dads, soccer moms that will take them on trips, give them educational experiences. If these schools are not doing right by our children, then we will educate them. We don't need permission. In Connecticut, I don't know what state you're in if you're watching, there is a law. It's a homeschool law that we have the right to take our children and to put them in a place with the parents' permission and educate them. And what I wanted to do is empower parents on how to do that. Parent workshops, not that so I can build, but so that families can educate their children in the way that they want to educate them and empower them. Stop asking permission. You have something you want to do that God gave you. None of these people are greater than you. And I'm duly hurt when I see somebody with a PhD, a master's degree, all of this education, and you don't have the courage nor the gall to take your education and to do something for yourself and your community. And there are some people that are envious and don't want to see you succeed. And you're asking those same people, stop it. So when the city of Bridgeport had the grant, I would always ask the other organizations if they would put me on as a line item. I didn't do that this time. I got the paperwork and I filled out the paperwork myself. And they just alerted me today that I was awarded the grant. I fought. And when they gave me a hard time, the people I won't mention because they actually worked with me, even though I wasn't easy on them at first, because I fought for our children. The people that I emailed back and forth, one of them is my Facebook friend, but these are City of Bridgeport workers. And I fought and I fought and I got my stuff in. I didn't get all that I asked for, but I got something. So instead of me waiting and asking for permission, I decided to go and do it. Anything that you want to do and you have a desire to do. And let me say this, you're not going to be blessed if you're going to take that idea to harm other people. Now, remember, as I close, the Declaration of Independence, which I believe is a document that if America really followed, it'd be a better country, but they don't follow it. You know, outside of us being called 3/5 of a human being, you know, in the United States Constitution. But the Declaration of Independence says that government was instituted to protect our freedoms, not so that we could beg them permission. We're supposed to go out and they're supposed to actually protect our freedom to go out and do things. That's why it was instituted among men. Thank you, Sister Ramona. So go ahead. If God has given you something, you don't need anyone's permission. The only rule is the golden rule, that you don't hurt anybody. You do unto other people as you would want done unto you, that you don't use it to harm or hurt. Everybody has a right. My brother Bob Marley said everybody has a right to decide their own destiny. And so thank you, my dear brothers and sisters, you know, for listening. I'm just at this point noticing that there are a lot of us that are seeking permission from the same people that have actually caused the problem. And so you can't expect the school district to solve the problem. In many cases, they are the problem. You can't ask the State Board of Education, the Connecticut State Board of Education, to solve your problem. In fact, in many cases, because of their racism, the State Board of Education is the problem. And I'm so happy that I'm free to call them racist because I don't work for them anymore. I'm so glad that I'm independent, that I don't have to worry about a system that holds us back, that I'm on the other side and I'm not asking none of you permission. But you want to throw something in the pot? I'm not going to do what you say I should do. I'm going to do what I know I should do. But when you see me work and getting results and helping our people, if you want to throw something in the pot, we'll take it. Peace and blessings. Y'all have a good night.